You can use a ratchet, but I prefer to use an impact gun if you have one. It is 15 millimeter. You're gonna need some type of pick, and we're gonna go ahead and remove the cover. So the best way to remove these covers is that you put them around the top, kind of flip it out, remove that. Then you have this one over here. Get those two removed. You're gonna move your seat back all the way that it'll go, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the seat bolts out. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and just bring the seat all the way forward and remove the back ones. So same thing with the back one, you have your little covers. It's good to use the pick. Get up underneath there, pop that off. But cut some of that out. And then we're gonna go ahead and remove. All right. So after we get all the bolts out, the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and set the seat back a little bit. I like to bring just a little bit forward, and then basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lean it back. Now after it's leaned back, do not operate your seats, because if you do, the tracks will be off and you'll be fighting trying to realign everything back up. So once you lean this back, do not touch the seat adjustments at all. Okay, now next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the wiring. Now this clip is pretty weird. You gotta push up on here. Once you push up, this thing's gonna fall down. See, you're gonna drop it down. Do not force these. You do not want to break these clips. Go ahead and bring that down, pull it out. Now our seat is disconnected, and that's the same thing with the other side. Okay, so we're on the driver's side, and the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to start removing the panels that we need removed before we start tucking all the wires away or routing them through. So the first thing is the driver's side has a 7 millimeter head screw here that has to be removed. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. Make sure we don't misplace the screws. And this little panel here just pulls right off. Okay. Look at all that dirt behind there. Ugh. Really need to clean out this truck. Now the other side does not have a screw, so that just pops right off. So go ahead and do that side. Next panel we need to remove. The passenger side sill panel here, that just pulls up. Sit there, and then we're gonna have to remove this panel here. Now first things first, you got a little lever right here. We're gonna go ahead and just pull that out, move that aside. If it doesn't come out, don't pull so hard. It's just plastic, it will break. So we're just gonna pull and work your finger through where the clips are. You'll feel them, and then go ahead and move this out of the way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the top cover here off the center console, and that's going to give me access to run the wiring up, and then it's also going to give me access to do something a little bit different than what the F150 LED kit guy tells you to do. They want you to light it up inside the console. Well, I don't really care about that. I don't have this lid open when I'm driving, so I'm not ever really going to see the light. So what I really want to do, I want to run it through underneath here. I'm going to drill a couple holes on the side here, pointing away from me, and that's actually going to give me the cup holder LED kind of ambient looking feeling. It may not be as bright as what you could buy the pucks that go in there, but I figured I'm not going to be able to enjoy it while it's inside the console, so why not enjoy it? I'll drill some holes in the side here, and I'll light up my cup holders. So first things first, I need to remove this, but to do that, I got to put the vehicle in neutral. So apply your emergency brake, go ahead and key on, hit the brake. I'm going to go ahead and go neutral. Of course, the car is going to do that until you get the key back out. So we're going to go ahead and just put the wedge tool up underneath here. We're going to go ahead and pick up on it, each side. Be a little gentle with it. Some pieces might pop off, so watch your chrome pieces there. Just go ahead and lift up on it, give it a little tug, and we're just gonna go ahead and pull that out, just like that. Now after it's out, you can go ahead and put it back in the park, pull your key out, and now we're gonna be ready to run the wires. So those of you guys that are interested on using the one LED strip to light up the cup holders, I'm gonna show you how this comes apart. So you actually have 2 Torx screws, which I've already removed. I believe they were 15s. Go ahead and just remove those. Those are the only 2 screws that you have, and then go ahead and lift up the lid, and then again use your non-marring wedge tool and go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and pop the clips, just 3 on each side, and then we're gonna lift up a little bit, make sure there's no wires connected to you. Now I believe from 15 to 17 that they have the light for the Prindle here. Make sure you remove that, and I believe if you have 18 and 19 you don't have that option. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lift up on this, and then we have to remove this leather boot off the center console shifter. So they have these little tabs. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them down, each one. Now once you get a few of them down, you can give it a little bit of pressure. Now once you get them all disconnected, then you can go ahead and pull the unit out. And we're going to take that and we're going to put this on the bench. Okay, so now we have the center console cup holder assembly with the Prindle built in. Now I have a lit Prindle, so therefore I don't need to light the side up. But those of you that do not have that, if you want that to light up, that might be an idea to actually lay the strip over to that section. So I want to cut a series of holes, and however you want to do it. What I decide I'm going to do, I'm going to put one on the bottom here, put one in the middle, and one for that one. And that's about it. I don't really want to go too crazy in there. I don't want to blind anybody while I'm driving. So I have a 1/4 inch drill bit, and I'm just going to drill inside. Drill there. So I put the holes, 3 holes there, and that's all I'm going to do. I don't recommend to put any holes on the bottom because you're going to still be putting drinks in here. As you can see, you get the buildup of the fluid, and basically it'll drip through. And there's the RCM, which is your airbag module, which is underneath this. So you don't want it to get it wet. So I don't recommend to do the holes on the bottom unless you're going to put some kind of drains in there. That's really entirely up to you. So yeah, I put the 3 holes in there, and that's how I'm going to start. I'm really not exactly sure how it's going to turn out. If I decide I want to put more holes in there, I'll pull back out, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so now we're starting to organize how we're going to put the wiring. Now, on the video, it's pretty vague. They show another type of connector. They're not showing this exact one, but it's pretty obvious on the length that you need to make it to the underside of the dash, to both seats, whether the driver's side and the passenger side, and of course the power wire connector here. So I really want, you really need to start down here, but I really don't want to tuck the wires underneath here. I don't know what's really on the other side. I like to remove this panel so then we can route the wiring under and through this center console a little bit nicer, and we're not worried about pinching any wires or having any chafing or rubbing down the road. So first things first, this top piece here, this comes off. So here we go again. We're gonna pop this top piece right off, and we have 2 7mm head screws here. I'm gonna go ahead and take those 2 off. And then we're going to go ahead and just kind of work it all the way down. pop these off. Now you can kind of leave it hang here, but there are a lot of wires connected there. If you have the options of the inverter and both USB connectors, we're going to go ahead and just remove these connectors and remove the panel. Okay, so with this panel removed, now I know I can put this splitter here without worrying about anything getting chopped off or anything like that. So go ahead and route all the wires for all the LED strips to each side. I kind of have it kind of roughly. I threw the couple that's over there. I got the one that goes in the back here. So once you get that all connected, I'm going to go ahead and start mounting them onto the seats. I have my wires situated now. Of course, now I was able to pick up on my center console. I was able to run this really nicely through here. I wanted to run my under dash light first, so I kind of have that going through here, have that going up, and got that run up that way. So when I put the panel on, which there's the line for the panel, I want to try to see if I can zip tie that up somehow so it doesn't fall down, so it doesn't catch on somebody's foot down the road. Now the next thing is I have the wires coming here, and the reason why I really wanted to do it this way is because we have the seat track here and it bolts down here, and we don't want anything loose underneath the seat track. So when this seat's going back and forth, these wires can catch in there. Next thing you know, you cut the wire and it's destroyed. Now, supplied with the kit, we got some nice zip ties here. I want to go ahead and on the back one, we have these nice little straps from the seat. I'm gonna put this down. I'm not going to use the double-sided tape. I decided I'm just going to zip tie the light into the thing here. Let's see, it's a little tough in here. Okay, so the next thing, we got the front of the seat, and again, I'm just going to go, give a good idea where the center is, and I'm going to go ahead and zip tie this one in. It's a lot easier if you do remove the seat like this instead of trying to work upside down, just to let you know. But like I said earlier, you do have to relock tight the seat bolts back down into the vehicle, or in my case, I'm replacing them. They're not really expensive. I want to put about 4 zip ties, 2 on the outer and 2 on the inside, so you get a good shine. Now it's up to you whether you want it to shine forward or down. I think these lights are pretty bright, so I'm going to have mine just shine down right now. Alright, so this is underneath the evaporator on the passenger side floor. You can just glue the strip underneath here, and that's fine, and it works just fine. But the problem is if you can see this, all the kick marks. So the problem's going to happen is eventually somebody's going to kick the light off, and it's going to be dangling there, and it's going to be grabbed, and I don't want that to happen to my truck. Not with this light. This kit's just a little too expensive to be screwing around letting it fall down. So I dropped this piece down. It only takes 2 clips, and it's got a little pin that goes against the firewall there. So I dropped it out, and what I'm going to do is I want to just pop back the insulation, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut it out of the way, where I want the strip. So I'm actually going to lay the strip right through this whole area. So what you can do, and this is what I decided to do, I have a hole saw. I'm going to make a series of holes, and then I'm going to lay the strip down and I'm going to zip tie it through the holes. Now I got the strip that's going to lay down there. I did drill multiple smaller holes, and the reason why I did that is so I can take the wire tie and wire tie these down very nicely. So it's going to look like that. And then we're going to go ahead and run several zip ties through. And it'll look like that. Okay. Okay, so after we have everything tied down, you look through it, we have all the holes that should be enough. And we're going to go ahead and reinstall that back in. So all right, all set. Okay, so the next thing I have to do, we need to run this through this area all the way to the BCM. Okay, I think the best way is, since we have these wires that are coming out of here, they're just going to come across here. I'm going to tuck it underneath here. I'm going to put it up underneath, have it come out through there, just like their harness. And we're going to lay it all up through there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, put that underneath there. Pull that wiring underneath. Just there, it'll kind of lay low. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and run it along this section here, all the way up to the BCM. And we'll get back to the wiring. Now the next thing I'm going to do, since we're in this section, is this wire that I'm going to put to the center console. So down here, got this little slot here. I don't know if you can see it in there. We're going to take this, we're going to feed that through there. And what's nice is we already have the top off, so we should be able to see that. Put that through there. Then we're going to go ahead, see if we can find it. And there it is. Go ahead, go down here, pull that up through. Okay, so after we have the holes drilled, we need to install the LED strip. All I did was I drilled a couple holes on the side and I zip tied them to the side there. I didn't want to mount directly to the cup holder, so when somebody goes to remove it, for some reason they're not going to rip the wire out. So we're just going to put it there, which is removable. We can take it right out. It's up to you. You can glue it however you want. I just need to keep it stationary on that side, because that's where the holes are drilled, on that side. Okay, so the driver's seat is the same as the passenger seat. I went ahead and zip tied those on there, just like that. And like I said, I lifted up the console, I ran the wires up and through. Now I have the drivers under the dash light. So just to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and pop down that panel, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove this shield out of the way, which by the way is a 10mm. So you know they do have blue Loctite on them. Don't forget to reapply that when you reinstalled it. There's that comes off. Sorry about the dirty mess. what happens is how I clean my vehicle, I use an air gun, and I guess all the dirt just makes its way up there. Pop this panel off. It's just 2 clips. Just to get that out of my way. Now you can disconnect. That's weird. You can disconnect this. I recommend that you don't, unless you disconnected your battery. Just go ahead and leave it off to the side, because as soon as you disconnect it, your headlights are going to come on. So you can see here, there's a little metal shelf here, and that's how we're going to wire tie our LED strip in place. So do the best you can. Just make sure it's not hanging down. Okay, so we have a little bit of extra excess here. So I'm basically just going to roll this up, and we're going to reinstall the cap in the back. Just make sure when we stick this back in, we don't pinch any wires. Now I have my controller run over here. I have it underneath the carpet. And then now I have the supplied jumper and supplied ground. Now, they actually said you should ground it to this one, but I really don't like that one because it's actually holding a module into place. So I don't want to smash down on the module itself. But here, next to the BCM, there's a ground there with a 13mm bolt head. And that's where I'm going to actually connect my ground to. So I'm going to do that, and then since this is a 17 F150, I'm going to hook it to 23, fuse number 23, which is actually a rain sensor. And I don't have a rain sensor, so it's going to be an empty slot, so it should work just fine. All right, so I have my jumper in place. Now I removed the fuse that was in number 23, and then you reinstall it in the new adapter. Then I went ahead and installed the ground wire. So we're just going to put that aside, and then I'm going to go ahead and just test out the system first and make sure everything is working before you tidy everything. Have any questions about any of the installation that I did? Maybe I skipped a couple things. I tried to grab everything I could, little details of how to pull these panels out and everything. Leave a comment. If you have any other ideas of how to install these lights a little bit better, let me know. Comment it below. And like always, please like and subscribe. My name is Rich Maxwell. Thanks for joining me.